Okay, Barbara, we got another one on.
All right.
And he's fighting nice and frisky. You can see the water's pretty clear here. You can see that fish just below the surface with that nice harness in his mouth and that heavy weight that we're using. And we're going over some nice rock structure that you're going to see in a moment. So this is what we're fishing. We're actually fishing just up top of these reefs that are here. I'm just lifting the motor up so everything's okay. The key is to get that worm harness down right where the fish are, close to the bottom. Okay, Barb, he's ready to net.
Okay.
All right, Barb.
Nice fish.
Healthy fish. Light colored, not too bright. I'm just going to put the rod down there. Gently get my finger underneath the gill plate without going in the gills. I understand this time of the year, especially with the late season that we've had, there are a lot of younger walleye in the river. Okay, Barb, I'm going to get it back in the net.
Okay.
We've got a nice breeze going, and you're going to see it's nice and sunny now, so we're going to be able to see this fish take off. Come on. Just trying to get some action out of them. They've got tons of energy because the water's still pretty cold. Just going to see if I can get him out of the net here, just like so. And he's almost ready. He's right side up, getting his color back. He wants to go. Everything is good. Get his snout out of the net. There he goes, Mr. Walleye. Now let me show you the rigs that we're using here. Because when I talked to Matt over the phone, he said that we've got quite a bit of a current, up to 7 miles an hour in some areas, especially where the river narrows a little bit, so you get a little bit more intensity. So he said anywhere from a 3 to a 4 ounce bottom walking weight. You can see here that this is a 3 ounce one, so it's actually stamped right on there. And it's pretty heavy. And I mean, these things are so simple to use. All you do is tie your main line, and in my case, I have a liter of 20-pound test fluorocarbon leader, because when I do get caught up on bottom, I don't want to break it off. So the lighter line you use, the higher the chance of breaking off. So you see there's only one eye on this thing, and then there's one eye that's out on this arm. So, and that comes equipped with a snap swivel. That's where you're supposed to tie your leader. In this case, Matt and his brother Aaron actually make their own leaders, and they're made on fluorocarbon, and look at how long a lead we're using here. Okay, pretty long. I'm guessing that that's about 4 feet or maybe even 4 to 5 feet. And at the end of that, we have one blade and a floater, and it's also nice and bright. It's a nice bright color, yellow or chartreuse with a little bit of orange. And then look at the size of the hooks. You don't need large hooks, and actually you don't want large hooks when you're running a harness like this, when there's a lot of rocks and structure that goes up and down, because the bigger the hook, it's going to be heavier, it's going to sink faster, and it's going to have a greater chance of catching the bottom. So using small hooks like these are probably number 8s or number 6s. You can see that they're spaced apart about 3 or 4 inches. Now let me show you the way we've been rigging them. Barb, if you wouldn't mind just grabbing a worm. We've got a nice juicy dew worm, and what you want to do is hook the head of the worm on the top hook. And I try to hook the worm so that there isn't any part of its body sticking out. So even though they're nice and wiggly, you try to get it right in the center, thread it up the hook, not too much because you want it to sit straight, just like that. Okay, so this is important because then the water goes right over it. We don't have a piece of worm sticking out the side. And then you try to guesstimate how far down the hook has to be in so that the worm hangs straight. So it's right about there. And I'm going to puncture it once through the skin. And again, see the way I'm putting the hook inside the worm? And the whole idea is to have the worm as straight as possible. So only about a half to about maybe 1/3 actually has the hooks in it. When it goes through the water, a lot of it is dangling and produces a really nice action. But most of the time, the walleye will either get hooked on the front or back hook or both hooks. Then all you do is just lower the rig down when you're in the spot that you want to fish. As soon as the weight hits the bottom, you want to pick up on the line so you have direct line contact and lift up a little bit, because if you let your weight sit down there, you're going to get caught in the rocks because the current's pushing the boat. And you can see we've got a pretty good wind as well. Cindy, I know especially in Canada, the weather can change really quickly when you're on the water. What are some precautions people can take?
The main precaution people should take is always check the weather forecast before heading out on the water. Where possible, obtain a marine forecast that not only gives a land-based forecast, but will also predict wave heights. It will state that Environment Canada has issued a small craft warning if wind speeds exceed 20 knots per hour. Should you be caught in a storm and are unable to safely return to port, attempt to head for the leeward side of an island or peninsula to get out of the main thrust of the wind and the waves. So checking the forecast can make or break a great day on the water.